Hi, welcome to this video of supply chain management system. This video will help you to understand the process flows of the supply chain of an organization. At the end of this video, you will be able to explain supply chain management systems, analyze the flow of supply management, and identify some important tasks for planning and execution in supply chain management. We'll begin this video with a case study of Maruti Suzuki. Now, Maruti's supply chain is a very classic example, which they call it as e-Nagare or in continuous flow system, where multiple departments or the functions are communicated through a chain of information systems which is built around the Maruti's classic supply chain just-in-time approach. So they have procurement, logistics, production and distribution integrated within the same system and exchanging information for the organizational objective. So in an automotive company, the ERP systems facilitate in a big way in reducing the transaction cost and increasing the profitability. So Maruti uses an SAP ERP system that could extend it to the partners for comprehensive information sharing. So ERP application across 3 plants, 14 regional offices and 12 warehouses are being managed using the SAP approach. So we can take an example of Bajaj Auto. In 2010, they had sold 2.85 million 2 and 3 wheelers around the world. And it was supported by the virtualization technology of SAP, which helped them keeping the cost down. So ERP upgrades for Bajaj was planned carefully by having intense conversation internally within the department and vendors and also the users of that particular application. So the suppliers play a very critical role in a supply chain management system. So the application actually tries to integrate the suppliers and vendors so that they can communicate with the manufacturing facility quite freely. And that's creating an integrated approach within the organizational framework. For example, if we can talk about Oxford Book Manufacturing, so what it does actually, it attracts the publisher, collects materials from the author and then sends it across to the warehouse after produced as a book, and the warehouse communicates to the author. And the complete trail of information is captured into their supply chain management system. So to start this, how does the supply chain management system work? So we have the tier 2 vendors who actually provide their materials to the tier 1 vendors. And from tier 1 vendors, it goes to the client organization who consume the supplies sent by the vendors in the manufacturing process and prepares the finished goods, which they sends it to their wholesalers. And in turn, wholesalers send it to their retailers. So that's how the entire supply chain management moves. Now we can also talk about just-in-time manufacturing. As we have been talking about Maruti, what it does, it actually reduces cost significantly. It reduces wastage of material but not holding the inventory. It reduces the storage space because you do not have to hold enough inventory. And finally, it reduces uncertainties in supply because you are operating in a pull model where the complete planned production schedule is being prepared from the ERP system. Now Dell is known for deployment of JIT. Now what Dell does, Dell actually have invited the suppliers to stay in close proximity with the company, and in close coordination with Dell, they provide them the raw material as and when they want. And then the supply chain management systems of Dell actually natural fit, where the partners in the production, the suppliers, are also taken on board while the production decisions are being made. So thus it makes a complete and successful just-in-time approach. Now, another aspect of supply chain is about maintaining a continuous demand flow. So you need to keep the inventories available so that you can meet the demand. So the demand planning is a very critical business process. So in this context, let us take a very small example. For example, a component maker is manufacturing the component which is being sent to the manufacturer for the preparation of the finished goods. Manufacturer after production sends it to the wholesaler, and then the retailer gets his share of the delivery. Now in the whole process, what happens? There is significant time delay. So by that time the retailer gets the product, the demand for the product has risen up. Now that is very, very important and critical to capture, to arrest such kind of demand uncertainty, and you can do it using a supply chain management systems. So next thing is that in supply chain planning, what you need to do is that in supply chain planning, we manage the order management processes, manufacturing and scheduling, demand assessment, distribution management, and transportation management. So there are all 5 critical functions which are actually planned in an ERP application. So in this video, you learned that the purpose of supply chain management systems is to integrate suppliers and vendors of the host organization that will allow processes to be integrated across organizational boundaries. The ideas of managing supply chains originated in just-in-time manufacturing that gained popularity in the 1980s. Supply chain management systems are usually integrated with ERP systems for production, planning, and control of manufacturing. And bullwhip effect means small fluctuations in demand at various points of supply chain resulting in a fairly high fluctuation in inventories at the end of the chain. In this video, you understood the importance of process flows in the supply chain of an organization.